First, the Pakal carving is stolen, and now my star glyph man bumps his head and forgets his own name? What's next, Nancy? Del Rio pulls the plug on the monolith. The board clams up on my funding. My mother posts my old prom pictures on the internet.
Take it easy, Joanna. I'm sure everything is going to be okay.
What I need from you right now is action, not commentary, Nancy. Will you follow up with the hospital and see if there's anything we can do to get Henrik's marbles back?
How can I help around here?
You can also pick up Henrik's mail if he gets any. Keep the lab in order and just try to help me keep the entire museum from going up in smoke.
I've got work to do.
Go to it.
You have voicemail. Press 0 to retrieve messages. Press 9 for an outside line.
This message is for Nancy Drew. Hi, Nancy. This is Nurse Bluefoot calling from Eleanor Roosevelt Memorial Hospital in regards to Henrik Vanderheun. I believe you're a colleague of his? Since Mr. Vanderheun was admitted, he has repeated your name several times in states of semi-consciousness. As we've been unable to contact any of his family members, we're hoping you might be willing to act as Henrik's support person as he begins the difficult process of restoring his memory. Please call me as soon as possible to discuss this. My direct line is 202-555-4000. Thank you.
To replay messages, press 0. Press 9 for an outside line.
This is Nurse Bluefoot.
Nurse Bluefoot, this is Nancy Drew. You left me a message regarding Henrik Vanderheun. How is he?
Nancy Drew? Oh, thank goodness. Oh, I'm so relieved. We've been unable to locate any family members, and we do like amnesia patients to have at least one personal support person when they begin reality orientation.
Can you explain the amnesia?
Henrik is suffering from an acute case of post-traumatic retrograde amnesia. At the moment, he is unable to recall even the most basic autobiographical facts, from his name and address to his birthday and shoe size. He can't access the details of his personal history or events leading up to his accident.
Has he lost his memory for good?
Henrik has not actually lost his memory. It's just that his brain is injured in such a way that he can't access the place where the memories are stored.
I see. So we need to help him find the trail of crumbs. Is that it?
Exactly. First, we do repetitive memory exercises to help Henrik relearn the basic facts like his name and address, the name of his parakeet, if he has one, the date, and so on. Second, we try to stimulate Henrik's sensory memories in order to help trigger or find the way back to his cognitive memories.
Where do I come in?
You can't help Henrik remember his childhood, but you can probably help him remember his work, and who knows where that will take him. All roads lead to Rome, as they say. One great tool is the Reality Orientation Board. This is a place to post information and pictures for the patient to look at over a period of time. You may want to bring in images or photos to place on the board. Things from the museum, perhaps.
I see. Well, I'll be happy to help in any way I can. When are visiting hours?
Visiting hours are 10 to 4 every day, if the patient is not engaged in treatment and if he seems stable.
Great. Is there anything else?
Just remember, Henrik's brain has been knocked around like a peanut in its shell. He may have attention difficulties, headaches, anxiety. Sometimes he may seem giddy, too. We need to keep these conditions in check. Don't push him too hard, or he may have some kind of meltdown.
Well, the last thing we want is a meltdown. I'll go easy on him.
Bye-bye.
You look familiar. Is it time for my snack?
Hi, Henrik. I'm Nancy. We met at Beach Hill before your head injury.
Beach Hill?
Beach Hill is a museum here in Washington, D.C. The curator's name is Joanna Riggs. You were working there, and that's where your accident happened. Do you remember anything about the accident?
Joanna Riggs. Is that the woman who called to pick my brain for an access code?
What access code would that be?
Where in my poor banged-up head would I be keeping access codes? I don't even remember my own birthday. So if you're here to squeeze me for details, you're wasting your time.
Actually, Nurse Bluefoot thinks with regular visits, I may be able to help you get your memory back more quickly.
How, pray tell, do you intend to do that?
Nurse Bluefoot says that visual aids often help to trigger memories.
Pictures? Well, isn't this nice?
Come on, Henrik. You'll feel much better once things start coming back to you. I've got a picture with me if you'd like to give it a try.
Fine, I'll do it.
Great. These are Maya glyphs, like the ones you used to translate. Now, don't be upset if you don't know how to read them anymore. I can tell you what they mean.
I know what they mean, dear. I wrote them.
I'm sure you have written them at one time or another in your career. So, what do you think this is all about? The magician suffers yellow death.
Your translator is sloppy. I should know. I am the author of the original work.
The author? What are you talking about?
That first glyph is the fool, not the magician. Furthermore, any decent epigrapher knows those glyphs refer to the infamous plague of oozing hives. A fitting curse for a fool, don't you think? I rather like it.
Henrik, this note was found at a crime scene. Are you telling me you left it there?
I don't remember.
I'm investigating the theft of the Pakal carving. Please, Henrik, try to remember something.
Who in the world is Pakal? Oh, my head. Oh, the pressure. I can't take any more today, Nancy.
Okay, it's time for some memory therapy. Nancy, could you come back tomorrow?
It's a fiasco, just as I feared. Oh, I'm sick about the whole thing.
I see you've spoken with Joanna.
I was in the museum when it happened.
Have you spoken to the police?
I told them everything I know. I mean, I coughed up my brains right there on the table.
Did you hear? The thief left a glyph message with a red handprint on it.
That awful red hand was left on Prudence Rutherford's jewelry box in Topeka, and on the display case in the museum in New Mexico. What's the chance they're not connected?
What's the name of the museum in New Mexico?
The Chaco Canyon Cultural Center. They had a beautiful collection up there, worth a bundle, too. I appraised some pieces for them a few years back.
Do you know Prudence Rutherford personally?
Oh, we saw each other at functions now and then. Poor Prudence. She adored that necklace.
There was an incident at the museum. Henrik is in the hospital with a head injury.
Poor Henrik. Another squabble between him and Joanna, perhaps? Oh, I'm kidding, but I do remember the time she threatened to push him in the pond. Temper, I'm always telling her.
I need a photo of the Pakal carving. Do you have one?
Joanna took the official print for her insurance claim, but I have a couple extras. Here you go. Keep up the good work.
We're sorry. Your call cannot be...
Chaco Canyon Cultural Center.
Hi, I'm hoping to speak to someone about the theft that happened there recently.
Are you the press?
No, I'm a detective investigating a similar crime in Washington, D.C.
This is Sheila Schultz, the director. What would you like to know?
My name is Nancy Drew. I'm calling from the Beach Hill Museum in Washington, D.C. I understand you had some rare Maya artifacts stolen recently.
That's right. It's a terrible loss, and the police here have no leads.
Beach Hill was robbed, too. We lost one of our prized jade carvings.
I'm very sorry to hear that.
I'm wondering if the robberies are connected. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions about the incident at Chaco Canyon?
Fire away.
I heard the thief left a red handprint at the scene of the crime. Is that true?
Yes, it was very gruesome. It looked like blood, but according to the police analysis, the print was made with a mercuric sulfide paste.
Do you know of any symbolic meaning attached to a red hand?
Don't walk, don't go there, talk to the hand, as my 15-year-old would say. Really, I haven't the slightest idea.
What types of artifacts did the thief get away with?
Only the center's most prized pieces. The case contained 5 pre-Columbian artifacts that were excavated right from this area.
Do you have a list of the stolen pieces?
I know those pieces like the back of my hand. There were 3 pottery pieces, a small stone figurine with a snake head, and an ornamental jade carving.
I'm interested in the jade carving. What did it look like?
It was highly unusual. There was a glyph on it that no one could translate. Until we hired Henrik Vanderheun, that is. His opinion was that it's Mayan in origin, and that it may have been a place name glyph for this area. As you can imagine, we regarded it as something of a regional treasure.
Could you send me a photo of that jade carving so I can take a look at the glyph?
I'm afraid I sent our only print off to the insurance company. They said they'd return it, but who knows when our claim will be processed. I'm sorry.
Thanks a million, Sheila.
Feel free to call if you have any more questions.
Hello, Nancy.
Have you heard? The Pakal carving was stolen from the museum.
Well, I heard the alarms going off, but it wasn't until Henry called me that I heard the news.
You don't sound very concerned about all of this.
I was running late. I just figured somebody tripped a wire and I kept going. Whew.
It's odd that I didn't see you.
I was there on business, Nancy, not for tea.
Joanna is beside herself over the loss, you know.
She will get her insurance money and forget about Pakal in no time.
What about the Pakal carving? Wouldn't you rather see it in a case at Beach Hill than lost forever?
That artifact was lost to me as soon as it left Mexican soil. So my friend Pakal goes underground for a while until he is sold again. Suddenly, he turns up in Amsterdam or Hong Kong. Unless he is rightfully repatriated to Mexico, what's the difference?
Do you know much about Maya glyphs?
You've got me there. I know Spanish, English, Portuguese, and several indigenous languages, including Quiche and Nahuatl, but I have yet to learn the language of glyphs.
Have you heard? Henrik Vanderheun fell off the pyramid at the museum. He's in the hospital with a mysterious head injury.
That is terrible news. I hope it's not too serious.
Do you know what cinnabar is?
The red powder that the Maya used? Sure, I know it. They use it at Beach Hill too, do they not?
Cinnabar was used to make the red handprint that was left at the scene of the Pakal theft.
What is your point?
I think Joanna may have been less than truthful with me.
Have you called the police?
I don't want to jump to conclusions.
Of course. Sister Joanna couldn't possibly be a thief now, could she?
I should get back to the museum.
Adios, Nancy.
Well, look who it is.
Ready to do some memory work, Henrik? I brought you a picture. This will help you to remember.
That face. He's as familiar as my own feet.
Do you know his name?
Pakal! Nancy, this is the stolen carving, isn't it? And I'm the one who took it. I must have. But why? Oh, Pakal! What could I have meant by this?
Think, Henrik. Where's the carving now?
I can't remember.
Easy, Henrik. The answers are in your head. You just need to find them.
It's still in the museum.
Why would you break into the display case and steal the carving only to leave it in the museum?
To protect him. I had to protect him. Oh, Pakal! Something is going on at that museum, a devious plot. I was the only one who could stand in the way.
What kind of plot?
Forgive me, Nancy, but when I woke up in this hospital bed, I didn't even know my own name. Perhaps the only thing I can offer you is this key. It was found in one of my pockets when I was brought in.
Do you know what lock it belongs to?
I haven't a clue. Take the key now, Nancy. Find out what it opens and return to me, please, with some answers.
We'll get to the bottom of this, I promise.
In the meantime, I'll sit with my friend Pakal and see if he will tell me anything new. You must keep this to yourself for now. It's your only hope of getting to the bottom of this.
One of the pieces that was stolen from the Chaco Canyon Cultural Center was a jade carving with an unusual glyph on it. Do you remember translating it?
I can't remember.
Do you know anything about the theft of Prudence Rutherford's necklace?
I can't remember.
Did you use Joanna's name last week to place an order for Cinnabar with Keep It Real Restoration?
You're asking the wrong amnesiac.
Do you have anything against Joanna?
Who knows?
You rest up. I'll be back.
I'll do my best.
You have voicemail. Press 0 to...
Nancy, it's Joanna. The police are done giving me the 3rd degree, but now the board has suspended me. To make a long story short, I'm forbidden to set foot in the museum. Could you please call Franklin Rose and try to reason with him? If we don't get a move on, this exhibit is going straight down the tubes.
To replay messages, press 0. Press 9 for an outside line.
Boswell, Jackson, and Rose, how may I direct your call?
This is Nancy Drew, calling for Franklin Rose, please.
Just a minute, please.
Nancy, hello. Do you have any news?
I need to contact a woman named Prudence Rutherford. I noticed she's on the board of the Topeka Commission for the Arts and that they've donated money to Beach Hill. Any idea how I might track her down?
Well, you're in luck. It so happens that Prudence and I sat on the panel of judges for the Kansas Speak No Evil Mime competition for 3 years in a row, back when I lived in Wichita. How's that for a small world?
Dad never told me you lived in Wichita.
Indeed I did. I haven't talked to Prudence in about 10 years. But let's see if I still have her in this old dinosaur of a Rolodex. Ah, yes, here we go. Got a pen? It's area code 785-555-7279. What's this all about?
I think Ms. Rutherford had a run-in with a red-handed thief, much like the one who took the Pakal carving.
Ha! You're a real pro, Nancy. Say, why don't I call ahead and let Prudence know what's going on? That way I can say hello and she'll be expecting you.
That would be great, Mr. Rose.
Not a problem, dear.
You have no voicemail. Press 9 for an outside line.
Boswell, Jackson, and Rose, how may I direct your call?
This is Nancy Drew, calling for Franklin Rose, please.
Just a minute, please.
Nancy, hello. Do you have any news?
Not really, but something tells me this case is going to get complicated.
Oh, Nancy, you zero in on a case like a heat-seeking missile, don't you? I feel so much better knowing you're going to follow up on every lead. I'll help in any way I can.
Thanks, Mr. Rose.
That's what I'm here for.
You have no voicemail. Press 9 for an...
Boswell, Jackson, and Rose, how may I direct your call?
This is Nancy Drew, calling for Franklin Rose, please.
Just a minute, please.
Nancy, you must be psychic. I was just getting ready to call you myself.
Oh, really? Why?
I feel I should apologize for the situation that's going on at the museum, dear. I really did think we were setting you up with a nice little internship, a breather from your casework, but instead it looks like we've fed you to the lions.
Well, in all my travels, I still haven't found a mystery-free zone, Mr. Rose.
Speaking of travel, I got a postcard from your father in Ouagadougou. Apparently, Burkina Faso has become the cultural darling of West Africa. He must be having quite an adventure.
Like father, like daughter. Anyway, Mr. Rose, I'm calling about Joanna.
I think I know what you're going to say, Nancy. Let me be frank. Joanna Riggs has been in the doghouse with the board for months. Her thirst for acclaim has led her to gamble the future and the reputation of Beach Hill time and again. Now that we've lost the Pakal carving, one of our most notable pieces, well, she's just got to be stopped.
Don't you believe she's genuinely concerned about the welfare of the museum?
Good intentions are no substitute for integrity and sound judgment, Nancy. Look, I've got a client waiting, Nancy. What we need now is for you to take up the slack. I've spoken to the rest of the board and we've agreed that the best thing is to put you in charge.
But Mr. Rose, I don't think Joanna is responsible for the Pakal theft. She shouldn't be punished.
She's not being punished, dear. In legal terms, we're suspending her in abundance of caution, so she won't do any more damage to Beach Hill's reputation or her own. We're counting on you to catch this thief red-handed. Ha ha! Just kidding, kiddo. If you can get the Pakal back, we'll see about giving Ms. Riggs another chance. That seems fair, doesn't it?
It's a deal, Mr. Rose.
Bye, kiddo.
It's locked. Looks like I need to find someone who speaks Nahuatl. knew one piece of jade could have so much history.